In Call of Duty Zombies, perks are essential to survival, giving you an imperative advantage over the zombies that every player needs. Except these players. In this video, I'm going to show you the highest round on every Treyarch made Call of Duty Zombies map without any perks. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy this style of content, and subscribe if you are new to get this content on a consistent basis. Let's get into it. For our first world record, we are on Nacht World at War, which already has no perks to begin with, so we're just going to use the original world record, which was set by Krups, of round 8,817. Only this map and Bus Depot are on the list that don't have any perks to begin with. Here on Verrocked World at War, the record is set by Resile, and it's 366, which with no perks is absolutely insane, especially with the Verrocked Sprinters. This world record is a super underrated one in my opinion, especially because second place on this list is round 76, so he crushed the record by 290 rounds. Somebody go after this, somebody try to get second place. Here on Shino Numa, the no perks world record is also set by Resile, and his record is 5,749, which crushes second place by over 3,000 rounds. So not only did he want to get world records, he wanted to crush world records. Insanely impressive considering the amount in which he destroyed second place by, and also he's about halfway to the actual world record, which includes perks obviously. Here in World at War Derice, there's actually a joint world record. Now the footage you're seeing is by Resile, who has the world record at 91, but there's also a world record, obviously a joint like I said, which is with Tails Can Fly. They both got to round 91. I don't know who did it first and who did it second, but I gotta say whoever did it second, whoever got to 91 and tied it and then was not able to overcome the odds and get to 92 to break the record, I mean, you had to be devastated. I would be so devastated. But if you're keeping score, Resile now has 3 straight world records on World at War. He is the World at War king apparently, at least with no perks. Here on Keen Under Toten, the world record without perks is round 160 by Killer Sky. You guys are going to see him on this list a couple times, but he actually shattered the record here by over 65 rounds, and as you can see, this is what screwed him over in the end, unfortunate for him. Here on 5, amazingly the world record is set by Crypto Nix all the way up at 78 with no perks, which again shatters the record by over 30 rounds. I don't know what's up with these first place people and just shattering the second place records, but yeah, to get 78 on a map like 5 without perks, that has to be one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in Zombies. Here on Ascension, the world record with no perks is 171, again set by Killer Sky. I told you guys it'd be on this list a couple times, but as you can see, he does die out here in the spawn room on 171. Insane world record, shattering the previous one by over 40 rounds. Here on Call of the Dead, we have yet another joint world record, except this one is set by 3 different people. Now, the footage you're seeing is set by P. Gargler, who has the world record at 50, but he's sharing it with 2 other people by the name of Sheldon and stuff, and Amazing Spider, bad word that starts with a C. I'm sure you can imagine what it is. Anyways, this record is highly impressive. I was able to get to round 50 myself with perks, and it took me like a month. These people did it with nothing, so makes me feel real good about my skills. On Shangri-La, the record is set by Fanshu29KK, and he got all the way up to 61, which shatters the record by pretty much double. So there just seems to be a huge skill gap between whoever's first and then just the rest of the playing field. But again, this is one of the hardest maps of all time, so getting to round 61 with no perks is no easy feat. This is highly, highly impressive. Like I said earlier, there's another repeat offender, Crypto Nix yet again, who set the record on Moon with no perks all the way on round 77, shattering the previous record by 36 rounds. Obviously, his strategy is here in the starting room, as most strategies on Moon are, and I think this record, even though obviously 77 is insane, ridiculous, I think this record could be beaten. I think somebody should give it a go. Somebody should try this. As I'm showing you guys Verrucked footage here on Black Ops 1, I just want to let it be known that on ZWR, Nacht Toten does not appear under the no perk section, which is fine, but then you realize that Mule Kick is on that map, so it should pop up. So I went to the high round section for Black Ops 1 Nacht just in general, just to see what the highest record was, and unfortunately that person is using Mule Kick, which is totally fine, but for this video it doesn't make the cut. So I'm not going to go searching through the entire ZWR list to see who did it with no perks, because I'm assuming everybody's going to use Mule Kick anyways, but unfortunately the actual website does not have a no perks section for Black Ops 1 Nacht, when it totally should. I get it, there's not a bunch of perks, but there's one, so it should exist. Either way, whatever. We're just going to move on to Verrucht, which you can see on your screen here. So the record set on Verrucht is 121 by Will Barnell. Now, unfortunately, I could not get the footage, so the footage is second place by Fanchu29KK, who got to round 83 here. But yes, the record is actually 121. Now, the fact that somebody can do that with no perks while I struggle to get to 50 with perks is very disheartening for myself. Here on Shino Numa on Black Ops 1, the world record is set at 125 without any perks by Zaidu, breaking the previous record by 32 rounds. Now, unfortunately for Zaidu, his game does end in a crash, as you can see here. Here on Black Ops 1 Darice, the world record is set at also 121, similar to Verrucht, and it's set by Starmorn. This map, Darice, specifically on Black Ops 1, is a sneaky, really difficult map, so the fact that somebody can get to 121 without any perks is so disheartening for me. I keep saying it, but my god, man, how much better are these people than me? The answer is a lot. On Transit, as you can see, such a beautiful map on your screen. The record is set at 110 by Pluto. Again, such a gorgeous, outstandingly looking map. As you can see, the beautiful scenery with the jet gun. Beautiful gameplay here, knifing one zombie at a time. This must have been super fun for Pluto, and I can't wait to try to break this record myself. Now, similar to World at War Nacht, we are on Bus Depot here, which has no perks to begin with. So I'm just going to go with the highest round of all time for the map, which is set by Blasters at round 91. Here on Town, the world record is set at round 72 by I'm No Tix. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name, which actually isn't as high as I originally thought it would be, but then when you realize there's no infinite damage wonder weapons, no traps, it does make sense that the world record is only 72 without any perks. Another gorgeous map here, one of the most beautiful ever made. On Farm, the record is set by Tisma, all the way up at 62, which again, you would think isn't too high, but again, similar to Town, no wonder weapons that are infinite damage, no traps, and even worse on this map, no Pack-a-Punch, so 62 is extremely impressive by Tisma. On Nuketown, the world record is set at 60, similar to Town and Farm, no traps, no infinite damage wonder weapon, so it's not going to be too high. But really, with context, this is super high, if you actually think about it. And this record is set by Sun Lee, who beat the previous one by only 2 rounds, so congratulations to him for getting past 58, which was the previous one. Here on Die Rise, the record is set all the way up at 107 by Bag. I would assume the strategy is just abuse the trample steam, as you can see there, that's what he's doing. It's a very smart one. Still, though, you got to be super careful. This room isn't extraordinarily big, so to be able to survive 107 rounds, that requires extreme focus. On Mob of the Dead, the record is set at 193 by Astro X. Unfortunately, I could not get the footage, so I am using the second place footage, which is again Fanchu29KK, who got all the way to 186. But a record of 193 without any perks is so ridiculous on one of these older COD games. I get it. You do get multiple lives, so it's not exactly the same. You do have to have context there. When you have no perks on every other map, it's actually, you get one down and you're done. But on Mob of the Dead, obviously you have the Afterlife system, so there's a lot more chances. But either way, very solid record. On Buried, the record is set at 177 by Vano, and this record is just crushed, absolutely obliterated. Second place is all the way down at 115, so Vano went above and beyond to get this record. Obviously, on this map, no matter perks or not, you're just going to use the Subsurface Resonator and the Turbine, as well as the Pack-a-Punched Paralyzer. So this record is extremely difficult still, don't get me wrong, but this is the clear vision if you want to try it yourself. On Origins, the record is set up at 93 without any perks by Trickster. I don't know if it's really possible. I'm not too in tune with the high round community like I said in my last high round video, but I do want to say this. I want to see somebody try to get to 100 on this map with no perks. That would be a great milestone. Again, I don't really know if it's too possible, but I don't know. Somebody try it. Getting into Black Ops 3, I just want to let it be known that in this video, there will be no Mega Gobblegums that will count for world records, so there will only be Classic Gobblegums and no Gobblegums. And yes, I tried my best to do as much research as possible this time. So yes, some world records are actually with no Gobblegums, hopefully no oversights, but if there is, just let me know in the comments. As far as Shadows of Evil goes, the record is set at 199, just 1 round shy of 200, and it's set by Lost Feeling. On the Giant, here's a classic example of no Gobblegums taking the cake, because the record is actually set in the no Gobblegums category, and it's done by LTK Marceau, and he got all the way up to 117, not only with no perks, but with no Gobblegums, so no alchemical, nothing like that. This is extremely difficult to do, so congratulations to him. On Horizon Drock, the record is set by Square, who got all the way up to 202 with Classic Gobblegums. This is the only record on Horizon Drock with no perks that is set above 200, so congratulations to him. On Zetsubo no Shima, the record is set with Classic Gobblegums by KXG124, all the way up at 127. Unfortunately, I could not get the gameplay. I also couldn't get the second place gameplay, so I do have the third place gameplay. which is Malane95, who got up to 102. But the record is 127 by KXG, impressive world record without perks nonetheless. On Garrod Crovey, the no perks world record is set with classic Gobblegums by I Know Nyatom. I'm not Nyatom. Somebody go to the description and look at the name and someone tell me how to pronounce that in the comments. We have a special record here on Revelations. This is the only round 255 without Gobblegums or with classic Gobblegums with no perks. It's set by KXG124, who, like I said, got to round 255, but not only did he do it with no perks, he did it with no Gobblegums either. Say Revelations is easy all you want, but nobody's gotten to 255 without Gobblegums or with classic Gobblegums except KXG, so I don't know, someone go replicate it. Heading into the Chronicles maps on Black Ops 3, Nacht and Toten is set at 106 by Trix, which, yes, if you do remember correctly, you can get perks in Nacht with the Wonder Fizz, so this is a legit, amazing world record that probably took forever. As you can see, actually, I can see it up there. 28 hours. This map takes freaking forever. Here on Varrock, the record is set by Caruthless, who got to round 74 with no perks, as well as no Gobblegums. This is yet another no Gobblegums world record. I'm shocked. There's more than a couple maps that the record is set with no Gobblegums rather than classic Gobblegums. I don't know what's up with y'all. How are you doing better with no Gobblegums than with classic Gobblegums? That does not make any sense in my mind. I don't understand. On Shinonuma, the world record is set at 82 by Happy V. One of the maps that I am kind of surprised is not up at 100, but it's much easier said than done, obviously, so I guess I have to understand it from that stat point. On Kingdom der Toten, the world record is crushed at 125 by Tomorrow is Promised, who destroyed the other world record by 24 rounds. As you can see, he's in the notorious worst room on Kingdom der Toten, but in BO3, I guess it's the best, probably with spawns and whatnot, so good for him. 125 without any perks. Here on Ascension, the world record is 195 by I'm Ryza, and again, another example of no Gobblegums getting the world record over classic Gobblegums. The most basic and classic starting room strategy here. RK5 off the wall with Deadwire. It's the way to go. As long as you pay attention and you lock in and you just do not get triple swiped by these zombies, which can happen. They're very, very quick. Then you can be good. Try this. Somebody try this. If you're really good, maybe I'll try this. No, never mind. I don't even know why I said that. No chance. One of the more impressive world records that we've seen on this list so far, Mango Bingus gets all the way to round 80 on Shangri-La without any perks. I just want to apologize for any lower quality videos. There's just nothing I can do. This is just the footage that we have. But regardless, Mango Bingus, 80 rounds on Shangri-La, one of the hardest maps ever, with no perks. Here on Moon, Ganon Snipes gets the world record up at 179. Now, if you want to talk about crushed world records, this man destroyed second place all the way down at round 83. He destroyed it by 96 rounds. On Origins, the world record with no perks is set at 121 by Artist Blind, who broke the previous record by 7 rounds. As you can see, the fastest strategy here is with Alchemical and the upgraded ice staff down here in one of the tunnels. As we head into BO4, I just want to make it clear it is similar to BO3. We are only counting classic elixirs or no elixirs for our world records. So here in Voyage of Despair, we actually have a no elixir world record set by ZKL All-Star Gamer, which I just want to make it clear, you are going to see this man on BO4 with no perks a shit ton. Here on 9, the world record is set by ZKL All-Star Gamer, just like I said, and he got all the way up to round 124. Now, this one is with classic elixirs, but nonetheless, it is the world record, and he has set both Voyage and 9. On Blood of the Dead, the record is set at 178 by Venom Z, classic elixirs, but I could not get the footage, so I had to go find second place. Second place is also classic elixirs, except he did it on hardcore, getting up to 173, and that is also by ZKL All-Star Gamer. So I don't know which one's more impressive. Both classic elixirs, but one was hardcore, but he didn't get to 178, he only got to 173. Either way, the world record is set by Venom Z at 178 with the classic elixirs. On Classified, the record is set at a 102 by Slits91, who did it with no elixirs. He broke the previous record, which was held by Mango Bingus yet again, by 1 round, so congratulations to you. On Dead of the Night, a classic elixirs world record was set by ZKL All-Star Gamer yet again, who got all the way up to round 189. This man has been on the list freaking, I don't even know. I can't even keep track anymore. This guy is the Black Ops 4 no perks menace to society. On Ancient Evil, the record is set by I'm Z123 at 160 with classic elixirs, but I could not get the footage, so I am on the second place footage, which was 158 with classic elixirs. hardcore version though. This footage is done by Jake Snust, by the way. The links for all these videos that I'm showing will be in the description below. On Alpha Omega, the record is set by, you guessed it, ZKL All-Star Gamer, who got all the way up to round 145 without any singular perks. And this one was done with no elixirs, so the menace of BO4 society continues. Ladies and gentlemen, this world record is ridiculous, set by Sovetsky Brober. He gets all the way up to 292 untagged or totem without any perks, which breaks the record by over 100 rounds. What a way to end off the BO4 world records. I'm sorry for the extremely grainy footage. It is what it is. But here on Cold War, I also want to make it clear we are not going to be counting support. Now, does it really matter? No perks is no perks. But the reason being is this map, for example, has like 6 people tied at round 935 with support. So I'm just going to do it from now on in Cold War with no support. The world records are much lower, which means they're obviously much harder. This record with no support and no perks is set by Drain BB, who got all the way up to round 275. On Firebase Z, the no support and no perks world record is set by Frack, who got up to 191, just pretty much destroying zombies with the Reike the entire damn game. On Maurer Toten, the no perks and no support world record is again set by Drain BB, who got all the way up to round 201, just pretty much spamming the ray gun the entire game. A bit of a funny one here on Forsaken. Again, no support and no perks. The world record is 357 by Slang Kush, but he actually has a joint world record because somehow, someway, another person by the name of Corrido also got to round 357. Now, this round is so oddly specific that they're tied on. It's actually insane because third place is all the way down at 121, so they both broke the record by over 250 rounds, but somehow tied each other. If someone can let me know like the context on how that happened, I would love and appreciate you. As we head into our newest Call of Duty Black Ops game, which is Black Ops 6, I also want to make it clear for this game we are not counting support similar to Cold War. You can use Gobblegums though, so some records have Gobblegums, some records don't, but all of these records have no support. For this world record, perfect example, there are no Gobblegums here, and no support either. I still am trying really hard to understand how you people get better records with no Gobblegums than you do with them, but I digress, whatever. The world record with no Gobblegums and no support is set by Jumpers 187. He got all the way up to round 84. Here on Liberty Falls, the record is yet again set with no support and no Gobblegums, and this one's by Rollock, who got all the way up to round 122, pretty much spamming this jet gun. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but on Black Ops 6, this is my favorite world record out of the entire video, because this is our only 2-player world record. Somehow, on Citadel de Mor, the 2-player world record is higher than the 1-player world record. This one, again with no Gobblegums, was set by Mo Merkview and Cylindo 7373. They got all the way up to round 98 together. I guess you guys just don't like using Gobblegums because here on the Tomb, the world record is set yet again with no Gobblegums. This one by DBZ Razor, who got all the way up to round 290. Last but certainly not least, we do have another 2-player world record. There's only 2 of these on the entire list, both of them oddly in Black Ops 6. Apparently every single BO6 record you guys did with no Gobblegums, so congratulations. I guess you guys hate Gobblegums. This 2-player record was set at 118, done by Dallas Nation 04 and Ghost 3D. So congratulations to you guys for having the only 2-player world record aside from the one on Citadel de Mor. So that's it. All of Call of Duty Zombies, Treyarch Edition anyway. Those are all the world records with no perks. For everybody that did that, you guys are insane. There's 0% chance that I could do that myself. Thank you guys for the amount of support we got on the last World Records video. That's the only reason I did another one, because you guys loved it so much. If you did enjoy this video though, please leave a like and subscribe down below, and I will give you guys more of what you like to see. Appreciate you guys. I'm out.